So this time around, I'll be modeling the number 7 angled block, and I'm assuming that you have some level of knowledge on how to use this software by now. So I'll go through it a bit faster, hopefully, um, and I'll try and skip over the basics and only focus on the more technical skills and dial in on those, which in this case is only one. So let's create a document. Please make sure that you're naming them as you go and sharing them. It makes things a lot easier when it comes to my job. So the number 7 angled block. Now, you might look at this and you might think, oh, let's model the top rectangle. You know, it's 70 by 58. Let's just go on the top view, go 70 by 58, extrude it upwards, and then take off the edges and then take off this top section, etc. However, and I'll just quickly start this. However, I would say that potentially that might not be the best way of doing it. I would say that the bulk of the details you could probably get in one go on a sketch on that front face there. So what we're going to do is you can deselect out and select the front face. We're going to view it from the front. And we're going to do our sketch and sketch that entire front face as we go. So let's start with a rectangle. There's no reason to not. I'm going to go with the center point rectangle. And our numbers are 70 on the bottom by 58. Actually, no, not 58. It's 90 on the vertical. So that's our kind of base shape. Then we got to cut in and we got to create these angles. So in order to do the cut in, let's do a corner rectangle. And it doesn't matter where you do this corner rectangle as long as you don't click the points like the center point or the end point, so because it locks onto those points. So I'm just going to click in an arbitrary area and go along up until roughly about there. It doesn't really matter. We can put in our dimensions after. And we know that it's 8 mil deep, this little slot here. And do we know how long it is? Well, we do because it's 90 minus 22 minus 22. So because I'm lazy, I'm lazy but intelligent. I'm going to minus 22 twice from 90, which will give me the number 46. Lazy people tend to do things a bit smarter because they don't want to do as much work. So I've got my 46 millimeter tall rectangle. Now I need to center it. So I'm going to grab my dimensioning tool, left click on that. I'm going to left click this line and then this line and then bring it out here. That will give me the option to decide where that corner rectangle that I've just made sits relative to the edge there, the edge here. So these two edges will sit parallel and I get to determine how far away they sit. So the number there is 22, and if I was to do it over here as well, you would also see that it's 22. Freaked out for a second there, but yes, it is 22. I can also move this out. For some reason my mouse is missing a little bit lately, so I'm just gonna, there we go. Alright, so I've got my 8 mil deep, 46 mil tall little slot that I'm cutting out. The next thing I need to focus on is cutting out this corner, and I'll come back to this. There will be one or two more things that I need to do before I move on from there. But for here, I'm going to draw my angled lines. So I'm just, again, not choosing the center point, but just choosing an arbitrary point on that line, left clicking with my line tool, and then left clicking a second time on this side with my line tool. Then I'll start a new line, so you'll have to deselect and reselect. You can press ESC if you want as a shortcut. Do the same on the other side. Now, this is where you have to do something specific, is we're going to go to the dimension tool, and we're going to left click this outside line, and then left click that angled line, just like that. Now, as you can see, we can now create an angle that will sit on whichever one we decide between these lines. So right now I want it in between these 2 points, okay? So this line and this line sitting here is where I want it to be. Doesn't matter where you go this way, as long as you can see that it's the angle sitting in between those 2 points there. Left click once, type in 45 for your angle. Do the same on the other side. So dimension, left click your line, your angled line, and then left click this line here, and then left click one more time and type in 45. Now, as you can see, I've got two 45-degree lines between those 2 points. I do need to, however, dimension it a little bit more. As you can see over here, it's 45 millimeters away from the other end of the object. So I'm going to grab my dimension tool. I'm going to left click between this point, and I'm going to select the points, not the line, and this point. And then I'm going to write 45. Enter, and then do the same on the other side. 45, enter. Now, what you'll notice is I haven't got a dimension for this point here. Because we've constrained these lines in other ways, I don't need to. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my trimming tool, which is somewhere around here. There we go, trim. And I'm going to delete some lines. So I'm going to delete this line. I'm going to delete this line. I'm going to delete that point. I'm going to delete this line and this line. And I'm going to delete that point. And then I'm going to delete these 2 lines that sit on this bottom edge here. Now I have my overall shape. So I can tick this sketch and then extrude it backwards, and then all I have to do is make this slot that goes through both of them. So tick, select your sketch over here, extrude it, change your angle so you know what you're extruding, and then I'm extruding it 58 millimeters deep. Tick the sketch. So as you can see, it doesn't have that slot. So let's go to the top view now. Let's do a sketch on this face, so that face there. Do a sketch, and we're going to take away that rectangle all the way through. So we're going to do a corner rectangle with this one to make life easy. Again, arbitrary spot, as long as it's not locked to the centers or the ends. And then just drag it into an arbitrary area. It's 18 millimeters deep, and then it is 58 minus 15 minus 15 wide. So again, being the lazy person that I am, I'm going to work smarter, not harder. Alright, so as you can see, it's favoring this side, so we need to make it symmetrical, and we're going to make it 15 millimeters away from this edge. And we're not going to use the rectangle tool to do that. Control Z to get rid of it. We're going to use our dimensioning tool. So dimension between those 2 points. And the number we are typing in is 15. So now you can see that it's sitting in the right spot. This point, this dimension here will also be the same. And we can now extrude that rectangle through our shape. So tick the sketch, select the sketch, change your angle so you can see what's happening, extrude, remove material, and then you've got 2 options. You can put in the exact number, so 90, or you can go through all, and I'll just go through everything, tick it like that. And then there you have it, that's your shape. That is the No7 Angled Block. Share it with your team and with me, and then you can move on to the next model. Close, and then back to Onshape. And you'll be able to confirm that it's with your team by going into that team, and there you have it, the No7 Angled Block. See you on the next video.